like to take this opportunity to apologise to everybody for saying that assisting the Porsche Cup car was a bad idea.
No way I would have held on to that if it was the old one. No way. Hi guys, it's Chris down at Talk Sector Sim. I'm back in the rig, I'm back home. First job, obviously after saying hello to the family, is get stuck in on the new iRacing update. Today it's week 13 action from the brand new circuit Adelaide in that really controversial Porsche Cup car. What does it feel like? How's the circuit? How's the racing after this huge change? Let's find out. Guys, a huge thank you for joining us. Do please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoy the content to keep seeing this wonderful sim racing content. But sit back, relax and enjoy. Let's see how it goes. And guys, good evening. Now you find me on iRacing's newest circuit in Adelaide, in iRacing's, or one of iRacing's newest vehicles in the new Porsche Cup. It's week 13. The strength of field is 4,359. I haven't sat in this chair for 4 days. It's a street circuit. It is horrendously optimized, so I'm probably going to get about 14 FPS. This has absolutely no hallmarks of going well. However, this is a perfect opportunity to have a look around the car, the circuit as well, and take it all for a drive and see how it goes. So, without any further ado, let's watch the carnage unfold. Launch control now. We are literally around the corner, starting dead last. That might be the easiest Porsche Cup launch of my career. Now, what on earth is going to happen at this ridiculous first corner? There is a solid tyre bale on the left-hand side. They are wrecking. I am on the gravel. I will bear in mind this is week 13, but it is also an official event. So safety rating, I rating, they all count. Now, first thoughts on the circuit are beautifully, really well made and rendered. Somebody going up my inside there. Beautifully well made, beautifully rendered. Another absolute gem from the team at iRacing. It is starting to make my PC look a little bit archaic, is the one thing that I will say, and either I need to get some upgrades in me over the not too distant future, or there needs to be a little bit of work in the optimization department just to make sure that they're usable. But the important thing is the car now. You will see that I'm still dead last, but I would be in a strength field like this. My biggest concern, as I said back in my very last Porsche Cup race in the old era, was with no traction control and no ABS. This was such a close competitive series. It was hard to drive the car as I go around the outside now. It was hard to drive the car. That first corner is literally asking for a slowdown. It's going to come straight up the inside and you can have it. So hard to drive at the limit that it did make the racing really fun when it was going well, and I'm scared that this won't have that same impact and effect. Oh, I've been knocked off. Now this is a complete total not a disaster, isn't it? Interesting to see on the replay what happened there. But I think that says a lot about how this series is going to go now. It does give us an opportunity to get a few laps under our belts and make sure everything's working from a point of view of the stream or the video recording anyway. Problem is, I think that is now probably us for the race, because there is no chance we're going to catch up to these fast boys. especially not having done oodle of practice. But I think that shows you that the Porsche Cup is still here because that ended a very, very similar way to the practice race we did in the old style of car. So a few broken pieces of automobile there. But to be honest with you, this also gives us a chance to talk about the dynamics of the car. It feels like a Porsche Cup car. Whoa, doesn't like curves. A Porsche Cup car of old. It's almost had had itself constrained. It's had itself pulled back. It's not going to spin the wheels anymore. It's not going to lock the brakes and really punish you. And that's something, but this car is very broken. Ballerini. Oh, I forgot that there was a corner there. And I've actually been overtaken by a car with a meatball, which is something a little bit special for me. I am impressed at even myself for that one. So yeah, where was I? Japan, brilliant and horrendous at the same time. Yeah, so the car itself, it's still hard to drive. At least hard to drive fast, which is positive. It's on iRacing's new tyre model with the called performance of the GT3, GT4, GTP, which brings a dynamic to the car. Don't think we can argue with that. Does it feel extreme? Oh my god, Chris. Does it feel extreme to me? Yes, it does. But I'm not a racing driver. I'm just a kid that pretends to be on the internet. Look at the corner here, Christopher. There we go. Much better. It is more accessible. It still feels like the old Porsche. It still feels rear heavy, which it would be because it's an Adelaide. See if we can follow this fella. It really doesn't like the curves and it feels softer. Don't know if that's the truth or if that's just my perception because I haven't had time on it in an area that isn't. And that's Australian public road. Time will tell with that one. But for me, feels like it doesn't want to turn in. It sounds better. I know they said something about swapping cogs or something like that in the release notes about the sound, and nothing to know what. It does mean something to me, the fact that it does sound more raw, more visceral. More like I'm sitting behind the wheel of a monster. Problem is less of a monster that's going to come and eat you. That's to slow down. More a monster that's just going to come and crawl out your cupboard in the night and give you a little scare. In this car now, that first lap is a problem as we have a yellow flag, so something's going on. Pop smoke there. Oh my god. you don't get the car set up just right for a corner, it just doesn't like it. It doesn't like it one iota. Looks like we're going to spend another Porsche Cup lap car, Porsche Cup race getting a lap. Which is in no way how I wanted this channel to introduce itself to the world. But what can you do? And you get knobbed off like you always do in Porsche Cup. Oh, I'm too hot, far too hot. And another slow down. Also gives me an opportunity to talk about week 13 on iRacing, which I think is the biggest heap of crap there is. Because it's just a mess. It is a mess of Egypt's. You jump into an official series like this, some people obviously must think that it's unofficial because they consistently just drive like muppets. You go into an unofficial series, like the GT3s on a week like this, and it's just literally carnage. Speaking of GT3s, this is actually where my biggest worry for this car in this series is sourced, because we've now got obviously GT4, GT3, we've got the Ferrari Challenge car, we've got this, we've got a sim now that is absolutely flooded with racing cars covered in assists, with traction control, ABS. There's nothing raw and visceral anymore. GTE's gone. And now the Porsche Cup's gone that way too. That makes me sad. You know, this is the old school in me. I like the challenge of hustling out. Incredibly hard to drive the car. Without the opportunity to fall back on all of these safety nets. I should, as a person of my talent and of my experience and of my consistency and exposure to sim racing at the moment, I don't feel like I should be able to finish a race around Adelaide without putting it in the wall, without help. Now it's still a good amount of time to make that a reality, but I just don't believe that that's what sim racing is. Sim racing should be real top end of sim racing, should be the pinnacle of challenge. And no matter what anybody says to me, this isn't a pinnacle of challenge. It is fun. I'm less scared than I was now I've had the chance to drive it. I'm looking forward to driving it somewhere that isn't a street circuit with 14 frames per second. Somewhere I know that I can really go and grab it by the scruff of its neck and see how it feels, but way I would have held on to that if it was the old one. No way. I mean, I'm not very good. And there's a couple of lessons that I'm learning from this. Number one, make sure you get your graphics considered and configured before you do a race. Number two, do some bleed practice. These two will start fighting, I might end up getting involved. Here's hoping. Probably 1 or 2 remaining laps now. The white flag will probably fall for the leader now. I love this first corner. Oh, boxing. Shouldn't have said it. Oh, somebody's binned it. Can we get a little bit of excitement at the end of this race? Not if I keep understeering into walls, I can't. And actually, somehow or another, we're actually going to gain iRacing. Too early. That car is very broken, and that looks like an opportunity. It's weird because I'm sitting in the Porsche Cup car here, and the Porsche Cup's so reliant upon trail braking for rotation, but when the ABS is there, it's just not giving you the trail braking that you're expecting. Uh-oh. And that leaves you in a world of hurt. So this promise, I feel like more than anyone wants I get a little bit more experience, and I'm somewhere that I know where I am, and I'm somewhere that suits me a little bit more than the street circuit. We'll see how it goes, and I am intending on doing a full series over the course of season 1 of 2026, starting from next week, a full series of Porsche Cup. So do come along and join us for that. And my basic intention is to do 1 race a week, no matter how it ends up. Coming on the channel. When you want to see what it's really like to try and do a series just like a racing drive in the real world, you can't try again 2 hours later. You've got to deal with the result you get, and that at the end of that, P18, a little bit of iRacing, and the Porsche Carrera Cup car. More thoughts to come. Just a quick look at the incident that took us to the back. And was I hit? Yes, I was hit. I did check up a little bit with the car in front of me, hitting the wall. Probably threw him off, but that's Porsche Cup racing for you. So the Porsche Cup car, awaiting further information, I think. Now, as I say, I'm going to be doing a full series over the next 12 weeks, detailing 1 race per week in the Porsche Cup, just to see how that racing really has evolved with the new car. I think there's some real potential there, but let's see how it behaves on a circuit and in a world that, well, I'm comfortable with after I've had a little bit of practice and everything. Guys, a huge thank you for making it this far. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the new Porsche Cup. Do like and subscribe if you would like, so you can get all of this content coming straight through to you, and you can enjoy that fantastic series coming up in the next 12 weeks. Guys, thanks again. We'll see you next time.